Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at SBProU.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. I'm your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited about hanging out with you once again on Tuesday evening. As for everyone, this year is closing out faster than everyone would have expected, but hopefully you had a good year this year. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in, following what we're doing, contributing to what we're doing, and helping one to make it a great year for us, but also, hopefully we've helped this to make 2025 the best year ever for you as well. And next year we're going to double down on that. So, if you remember at the beginning of last year, our goal was to help make 2025 your best year ever. I know we've done that for quite a few people. Hopefully you are one of them. If not, we're going to definitely make sure that happens in 2026. So looking forward to that. But as we close out the year, it's always good to sort of look at, how your year went, but also look at, well, how do you want this coming year to go? And, where do you want your business to go? How do you want to build it? And, that's why we generally bring Jimmy Newson back, because he always, has such valuable insights in terms of strategy and combining strategy with the latest technology and other ways to develop and implement your strategy. So I'm excited to have Jimmy Newson back as our guest again this year. And we're going to be talking about building your evergreen business blueprint. So really building your business blueprint for making 2026 your best year ever. So looking forward to having Jimmy on. Let me just bring him on real quick. Hey, Jimmy, what's going on tonight?
Oh, just waiting to hang out and talk to you for the next hour or so. That's what's happening, because this is where it's at.
That's right. That's right. Forget about the ball drop on New Year's Eve. This is where it's at.
We don't need any of that. This is it.
So very excited to have you here. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, and really looking forward to a great discussion tonight. That'll be very helpful for many entrepreneurs and business owners. So, definitely many people who are on tonight may know you, but not everybody does. So if you could take a minute to sort of just talk a little bit about some of the things you've done and are doing to give context to what we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely. So my name is Jimmy Newson. I'm known as the Impact Influencer, and that's actually may change soon. I may be switching my moniker to the strategy architect. That's what I'm told that I need to pivot as I continue to grow. I'm the founder and CEO of Moving Forward Small Business, where our vision is to be the #1 strategic support system for small businesses globally. We're on a mission to save 1 million small businesses from failure by 2050, leveraging innovation, technology, and strategy. And I'm an international speaker, so I get a chance to travel the world speaking around technology, innovation, business strategy, which are, to me, is kind of like that trifecta. And just recently, as of the end of last month, I finally threw my hat in the ring as a SaaS founder. So we didn't launch one, but we launched two SaaS products. Because we do recommend a lot of SaaS tools, we try to stay on top of what's happening in the world of technology when it's married with strategy, and we use a lot of tools. And we decided it's time to start to build our own tools. So, one of the tools we built is kind of aligned with what we're going to talk about today, but it's exciting. Not only for us at Moving Forward Small Business, but the potential for other small businesses to also throw their hat in the ring because of the advancements of technology, which will allow you to do a lot of the same things that we're doing at Moving Forward Small Business.
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, definitely look forward to chatting about that. We're going to talk about something Jimmy sort of blew my mind a couple of weeks ago when we talked, because I felt like the new platform that he's utilizing is amazing. And I felt like Tony Stark, like you could be like Tony Stark, be like, oh, change this, change that. So really excited about being able to use and take advantage of that. AI is changing the landscape in so many ways so quickly. And it's such a powerful tool for small business owners who take advantage of it. Because you can do things that larger companies can't even do. Cheaper, better. So looking forward to learning more about that, and I'm sure Jimmy will be sharing a lot about that. So, before we do that, I just want to take a minute. We do the Small Business Pro University. Just want to put a short video about Small Business Pro University. And our goal is to really impact over 1 million business owners to be able to sell more, maximize profit. It is.
Many small businesses experience low or no revenue growth, and the owners are not making enough money. I founded Small Business Pro University to help you break that cycle by empowering you with greater knowledge and enhanced skills to lead your organization more effectively. Over the past 15 years, I've collaborated with organizations like the Small Business Development Center, Rising Tide Capital, Empower the Village, NJMEP, Rutgers University, and SCORE to work one-on-one with over 1,000 business owners and teach tens of thousands of people about business. My experience includes serving as a naval officer, managing businesses, graduating from MIT, earning an MBA from NYU, and achieving the CFA designation, which has prepared me to accomplish my mission of helping 1 million and 8 business owners to sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth by 2028. My vision is to create the ultimate business ecosystem for entrepreneurs. Small Business Pro University empowers entrepreneurs like you to run their businesses more professionally and create sustainable enterprises. We employ my proven proprietary Masterpreneur playbook framework to guide your journey along the Masterpreneur path and facilitate your Masterpreneur evolution to work on your business and scale faster and easier. Small Business Pro University provides access to valuable resources, partnerships, and relationships that will help you to sell more, maximize profit, and finance growth. Our Masterpreneur initiatives include the Small Business Pro Network, 100+ expert-led multimedia courses, intensive training workshops, Spanish language training, Leadership Live at 8:05 live stream and podcast, in-person Power Breakfast events, and advisory coaching, consulting, and training services.
Hey, good evening. Welcome back. It's Andrew Frazier here on Leadership Live at 8:05. We're talking with Jimmy Newson, the impact influencer, soon to be the strategic architect. And we're talking about building your evergreen business blueprint. So Jimmy, you talked about strategy being one of the key things that you help people with, and that is critical for success in business. Talk a little bit about what strategy means to you, and what how you utilize that,
Uh,
how business owners can take advantage of that.
Absolutely. The thing is there's no shortage of things that we should be doing in our business, and what we have to do is move from being an operator in our business to being what I'm going to call the strategy architect. So we're going from hustle and grind to building systems. I think I saw everything Jacksonville, Florida. I'm looking at the chat. I don't have access to the chat, but you talked about systems is the key. And this is whether you're 0 to 100,000, 100,000 to a million or more. Systems is everything. Processes is everything. And the more you can get involved in understanding, strategy and how that a strategy affects how you build your processes, you're going to architect a system. So for me, strategy starts with the vision. The vision becomes the most important thing that you can focus on. It is the end all be all. And at this point, when you have that clear focus on what it is that you're trying to achieve through your vision and your mission, everything else starts to become clear. It is the key definition to how you make better decisions to grow your business, and even, I'd say, even build yourself as the authority figure that you are. So that becomes the most important thing to growth. And when you have that, everything else starts to become so much easier.
Okay, so definitely that's where you should be starting with.
That's absolutely, that's where you start with, because from there, then if you can, and again, I'll walk you through this quick process for those who may not have heard me talk about this before. It's vision, mission, values. From your values, these are your three, what we call the core foundation. And from that, you're going to pick your top 3 focus areas. What are the overarching things that you can do that are going to keep you focused for the next 12 months and beyond? So you got vision, mission, values, how you're supposed to behave, focus areas. Once you have those 4 things in place, then you can start focusing on what are my objectives, what are my projects, what are my tasks, and then how do I measure that through some level of KPIs that I'm measuring. And again, I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but that becomes the entire system that becomes your strategic structure. And when you have that strategic structure in place, I'm telling you, you can move mountains. And for us at Moving Forward Small Business, I'll use myself a lot in this here because we practice what we preach. Last year was an amazing year for us. We were able to see a lot of growth in a number of areas. Did we hit all of our goals? Absolutely not. But we've made a lot of progress towards those objectives, those goals, those focus areas, and we've made pivots because things don't always work out the way they're supposed to. So this is where, when you do have a strategy, the objective is it's not something that sits in a folder on your desktop that you never open after you've created it, or it's in some file cabinet, God forbid. It's a living, breathing document that you're looking at regularly, depending on who you are in the business. If you're the owner and you're also the operator, you should be looking at that thing regularly. I would say almost daily. If you happen to have other people, a COO or somebody else that's handling day to day, you should be looking at this from a weekly standpoint and having check-ins with them. So the first thing is to understand what the problem is. The problem is this is not a one-time thing. This is not something that you do. This is not something that's for big businesses. If you started a business tomorrow, before you do anything, you need to build your business plan, and then build a strategy around that, then move forward.
All right. And that's a great point. One thing that I've found, and a lot of people find, is most business owners don't have a business plan, or don't have a current business plan, or don't have a complete business plan, or don't have a business plan with numbers.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows failing to plan is planning to fail. So that's one of the reasons why so many businesses fail. One of the first things is really just first things first, developing your strategy and your plan before making moves, because it will save you heartaches, and help you achieve greater success faster. So that's one of the key things we're talking about. And now is the perfect time, whether you're already in business or not yet in business, you need a plan.
Absolutely.
So, first, just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Always appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely, thanks for your comments. We love your comments. We love your questions. So keep them coming. And also, give us a shout out from where you are. I know Jimmy's out in Long Island. I'm actually was in North Carolina this morning. I'm in Virginia right now. I'll be in New Jersey tonight. So, where's everybody tuning in from? Because we usually have people from all over. Jimmy, we talked about strategy, and you talked about the four first things, your mission, your vision, your values, and your top 3 areas of focus. And it's really important to focus. Now, everybody talks about, oh, you need values, you need a mission, but you don't just need a mission, and you don't just need values. If you're doing it right, what is your value, your vision, and mission? Because I think a lot of times people just come up with something so they can say they have it, but then that's not going to allow you to really build your strategy around it if it's not pulled together the right way. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And Mario asks, what's the first evergreen system every small business should build? So it's a bit of a complicated question, but we're going to get to that part. The key here is if we take a quick step back, and we won't spend too much more time on this, but the purpose, the vision is where you want to see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. The mission is how we're going to get there. So they stack on top of each other. And if the vision is where I'm going, if the mission is how we get there, the values are how do we behave as we're on this journey. And anyone who doesn't behave the way they're supposed to behave, then they're going against the values that you set up, which means that they no longer are a perfect fit as you build this enterprise, this ecosystem. So if we take it past that, let's say we got our purpose, vision, mission. Now we're going to focus on the 4 pillars of the blueprint, and so this works either if you've done strategic planning before or you just started out. The first thing is the audit. You need to look back and see what has happened. So let's say the last 12 months. Let's look at, do a serious audit of what happened over the last 12 months, because that's what we call historical data. And that in itself will give you a really great idea of what you're strong at, what you were weak at, what were opportunities that presented themselves, and what were threats. Basically a SWOT analysis. So once we do an audit, then we can kind of go, all right, based on what happened in the past, here's what we can do for the next 12 months, because now you're basing it on real data. You can now look at that next step to go, if this happened then, I now know what to look out for. I know what to steer clear from. I know which directions really work. I know which opportunities are great opportunities. And when you know those things, the next thing is to start to kick in what I call the innovation engine. And that innovation engine means now we're going to involve technology to help us move faster. I'll tell you, this month, the month of December 25 was the most productive month I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, not to brag, but to let you know this was a combination of this brain, and AI and technology. We built 2 apps. We did 7 live presentations, 1 book. I have my first book coming out that was done this month, and just managed all my clients with the same team. I didn't increase my team. We just started leveraging technology better. And it's also based on the fact of everything we're doing now, we already know how that should pretty much affect us in the next 12 months because it's fully aligned. So you're doing all this work right now, and that work has to fully contribute to where you see yourself in 12 months from now. And then you build what we call the inbound loop. It's your strategic plan that's live. So you can continuously monitor that plan. And that in itself starts to build what we call an evergreen system. An evergreen system for me, at the end of the day, is not really like an evergreen post that never goes out of style because the topic is relevant. It's the evergreen system for me is making sure that you always have your eye on the ball. Use some type of tool, some type of technology that allows you to continue to not only plan, but leverage AI to help you make better decisions because of the things that are happening. It can take into account the next current trend. It can take into account a new competitor that just came into your industry that might disrupt things. It can take into account the things that you did over the past 12 months. This is where you start to leverage technology really well. And what you're doing is building more of a live evergreen based platform, an evergreen based system. So you're never caught off guard. You're never caught on the losing end of the opportunity. So I'm going to stop there because I said a lot. I don't know if you want to jump in here, Andrew, or if I'm going to keep rocking and keep going.
Okay. Well, definitely, there's a lot to what we're discussing tonight. But I think I would just say that it's always good to reevaluate things. Mm-hmm. Actually, after reevaluating sort of where my business is now, I'm actually adjusting my mission and my vision in a way that better defines our unique value proposition and where we could be differentiated the most. I think that we're great at helping business owners be successful, but the thing that we're even greater at is providing transformational tools and resources for entrepreneurs and business owners. So with more of a focus in the coming year on not necessarily providing directly to business owners, but providing, cutting edge ways to help business owners be more successful that other organizations and advisors that help business owners can utilize as well. So they can have a greater impact based on some of what we've created, which has been very successful with a lot of business owners.
Sure. Now I want to jump in. So Paula asked a really great question. What's the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make with evergreen marketing? So I want to address that really quick. And my opinion is that you took your eye off the big picture, and you also took advice from someone who doesn't know anything about your business. When everybody goes, oh, you have to be on TikTok or you got to start running Reddit ads. Well, you only do that if it makes sense to the overall strategy that you put in place in the first place. The strategy dictates everything. If you don't have a strategy, if you're not operating with any type of plan, then you're going to be trying all kinds of stuff. And sometimes the stuff, it's not that it doesn't work. You just may not have been given enough time. When I meet people all the time. I'm an SEO head, okay? And I'll have someone go, all right, I want to hire you for 2 months and we need to have the SEO working in 2 months. And I go, that's not how this works. That is a long-term strategy. So you as the business owner, when you don't educate yourself on, let's say marketing, on the different types of marketing and the typical time span that these things tend to kick in, then you're not doing yourself a service. You end up wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. I had a conversation with an entrepreneur, a business owner in Jersey. I know we got some Jersey heads in here. And he was like, so when do we stop doing SEO? I go, you don't. I go, we were an outside company coming in to support him. And I said, look, we know it can be a bit expensive when you're hiring a third party to do some of this stuff. I go, this is a perfect opportunity for you to maybe hire a VA or hire, and so they can continue to do the ground level marketing. You always have to be marketing, whether it's organic, whether it's paid, whether it's through partnerships. It always has to go on and on. It doesn't stop. That's why they have this thing called marketing departments, finance departments, human resources department, because these are all key components to the ever grinding framework and system that has to be in place for you to continue to grow. Stage 1 is just getting off the ground. Stage 2 is now maintaining, and then stage 3 becomes now it's time to grow. And when it's time to grow, now you have to put more things into it. So shout out to Joe, shout out to Christian, shout out to, I see a lot of people here, Clive. So it's I think the key here is when we think about, well, what are some mistakes? The mistakes again goes back to, do you understand what was supposed to happen? Does it align with your vision, purpose, vision, mission, and all your expectations realistic? And I typically, and I'll say this, I typically run from people when they give me a timeline on certain things, and I'm like, I do this a lot, and that is not realistic, and I don't really want to fight with you over this, so I'd rather not put myself in that place. I'm in a position now where I can do that, but not everybody is. But again, understand you're running a business. You need to operate as a CEO instead of a practitioner of your brand, of your business.
Okay. All right. No, great point. If you're going to be a CEO, you got to define the strategy. Now, one thing that I found is, as a business owner, there's so many things that you need to know that you can't know them all. How can you be better able to know the key things that you need to know?
Yeah, and this there's a number of different routes we can take with that. The key here is education. I'm constantly learning on top of everything else. Learning is a key component to my business growth, to the growth of Jimmy Newson. So I'm staying up. So I'm subscribed to certain newsletters. I watch certain shows religiously. I follow certain people that I trust are gonna give me really good advice. And I don't get frustrated. I just figure out, well, how can I make this work? And then it always goes back to my plan. And here's where you got to look at the situation to go, there are always going to be great opportunities for you. And the key here is you got to know when to say no. And I know we've heard this a lot, but this is very, very key, because the moment you say yes to something, that time's got to come from somewhere. And if you're already at 100, there's not much more higher you can go, which is where that strategy really starts to kick in. Your day-to-day as a business owner / CEO / whatever other title you want to give yourself has to start to change. You need to start to evaluate yourself. You need to start to go, all right, my day. We have this training in our community called, from small business owner to CEO. And we lay out the groundwork of what the two look like. And this is where you have to start to evolve yourself. Evolve and go, all right, I can no longer do these things. I have to now do these things. And one of those things is, as someone that's growing, is I need to now add learning into my equation. Learning is a key component to growth, to understanding, to then going, how do I relate this back to something that's going to produce revenue for my business? I don't necessarily have to do it. I just have to understand it enough so I can have someone else do it, and then so there's a lot of things going on, but at the end of the day, I think education becomes one of the key things as we move from, just getting off the ground to what do we need to do next? How do I stay up to date on all of this stuff? Because there's so much stuff out there.
Great points. One thing that came up that I think we should definitely emphasize is time and capacity. Mm-hmm. I think that as a business owner, especially small business owner, it's really difficult to manage those successfully without planning it. And you talked about how your strategy is so important because you do have a limited amount of time. But also capacity, and you have to have a strategy to be able, you have to know how you're going to handle your time and maximize it, and also make sure you have the capacity you need, because a lot of times you want to grow your business, but if you don't have the capacity, you just get stuck on the hamster wheel and you can't move forward any faster. And that's another key reason why planning and strategy are so important.
So I want to jump in on that real quick because I had a bit of an epiphany just before December kicked in, and this is why I had such a great December. I showed you a few things a few weeks ago before this call, and like you said, I kind of did a Tony Stark on you, and it was because I learned something, and then I figured out how does this help me. So I'll tell you exactly what happens. There's a new term that's going around, and we'll be teaching it next month in our community called vibe coding. Okay, so vibe coding is where you build software, basically by chatting, by actually having an actual conversation. So you're not actually coding. Now, don't worry about too much about that part. What I want to talk to you about is what I ended up doing because of that. I ended up building my first internal management system. Okay. And now I'm actually building it for one of my clients. And so what is an internal management system? What I looked at, I said, all right, here's the things I have to do every single month that never really changes. And every time I start it at the beginning of the month, I got to remember how I did it last time. And now that's time. And then, of course, producing that. Prime example, every month we do 7 hours of training in our community. I said, how do I make this easier? And so through vibe coding, I was able to build what we call an internal management system. And I took all of my processes to do that one specific thing. And it was a lot of steps because you're talking about 7 1-hour trainings that have to be all fully aligned. And I have to do this every single month. I've done it every single month for the last 3 years, every month, haven't missed a month. So I built an internal system, and in that system, I basically dumped everything that I have to do, that I have to think about, that I have to produce. And I said, and I used AI with it and said, now you now have the same brain that I have. Now what used to take me 10 to 15 hours a month, I can now do in 30 minutes. Okay. Now I know that I have to show you what it looks like for you to understand it, but this is powerful. And not only did it save me all that time, since I built the system, all I did was add to it. I kept adding things. You know what? I also want to do this. So I started adding things to the platform. Now that is my intellectual property, but it also did 2 things. One, it made my life easier, so I was able to move faster. But 2, it guaranteed that I can now officially start taking this off my plate because it already had my brain and it was just a series of steps that had to be followed. I no longer had to be the one to produce those steps. I could now turn that over to someone else. So this is where technology, when we really talk about AI coming in and saving the day, this is a prime example. Now I'm still producing the same high level content specifically for my needs on behalf of the people I serve. But now I have the ability to get it done a lot faster, and I don't feel any stress to giving it to someone else. So that's a prime example of systematizing your structure. And again, we're talking about evergreen systems here. Well, that's got to go on, even though I have to start focusing on other things. So I took that off my plate, gave it to AI. AI said, okay, we got this. And now I can start to focus on other things. And now I got this bug where I'm going, what else can I systematize? If I show you the back end of our system, it's a beast. And I've only been working on it for about a month. It is massive. And it is going to be a game changer for 2026 and moving forward, where I'm looking at other things for other people. Then when they ask me, I'm like, I'm going to systematize that. I'm going to add it to this system. I'm going to add it to that system. And we're in the land of ecosystems now.
Definitely. And we've got a question from Clive, which I think is important. Whenever you're considering strategy, you've got service-based businesses, you've got product-based businesses. Every business needs to have a different strategy, but there are certain strategies that are more fitting for product versus service businesses. And how would that, apply in terms of the blueprint?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any difference at all. At the end of the day, your strategy is based on your purpose, your vision, your mission. You know what the purpose of the business is, why it was created. You know where you're trying to take that business. So these are fundamental regardless of if you're a product or a service business, if you're brick and mortar or 100% e-commerce. At the end of the day, it's A plus B equals C. Your A plus your B equals your C, and someone else's A plus their B will equal their C. The key here is to be clear on why you exist, what you sell, who you sell it to, what is the threshold, who's your competition, what is your SWOT, what are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So when you can look at all of these things, it starts to become very clear. I'm a service-based business. But I understand who I serve. I understand the products and services that work best for them. I'm keeping up on the trends. I know exactly what's going to happen in 6 months, or what is proposed to happen in 6 months. And now I'm kind of preparing myself to go, are we prepared for that? So I don't think it's really about, is it service-based versus product-based? It's still really about the foundation of a strategy framework, which again is your purpose, vision, mission. And then from there, what are the 3 or 4 things that we're going to focus on this year? And everything else gets 86th. Everything else goes in a parking lot. And when people come to you with ideas and you go, that's great, you look at your strategy and go, that doesn't fit any of the 4 top things. This is great, but we're going to have to wait on that. It's really about staying focused to the key things. Every business can use great partnerships. Every business can use innovation in their products and services. Every business can look at, what's working and what's not working in their business. And when you start to fix those things, that in itself is part of your overall strategy. Okay. The key here, the strategy is just a written or typed out, just a set of notes. The key is, are you following those notes?
Okay, great. Great response. I mean, I think definitely your strategy is going to depend on a lot of things, but where you are. This year has been a really great year for me because we've just been able to do a lot of tremendous stuff. But one of the biggest things we did was we're able to create and launch the Masterpreneur Growth Assessment, which outlines the Masterpreneur playbook that I wrote about and the framework that I use when helping business owners. And really it's about, I'll just do a quick overview, but what I found is, there's really 5 steps that would take you from going from startup to scaling your business. So each of those 5 steps, doesn't matter which business you're in, you're going to have to go through those 5 steps. Some businesses go through steps faster than others. Many businesses don't even make it through all the first 3 of the 5 steps. So it depends on you and how well you're able to lead your business. So there's 5 steps, but also you have to evolve as a leader to be able to. So the 5 steps is the path that your business has to follow, but you as a business owner have to evolve so that you can successfully lead your business through each of the 5 steps. And when you combine those, that gives you the Masterpreneur playbook. And what we did was we created the Masterpreneur Growth Assessment, which really helps you to identify where you are, gives you a score out of 100 of where you are, helps you figure out what you should be focused on now and going forward. And that matches up with your strategy. Each of those points, that information would be part of what would go into developing your strategy.
Now I want to jump. Can I share my screen for a second?
Maybe.
All right, let me see. The reason why I want to do that, because someone asked, can you expand upon AI to make better decisions and build evergreen systems? So let me see if I can share screen. It looks like I can. So I'm going to share. So I'm going to show you a real-time example of what that means. Are you seeing my screen or no? Oh yeah, there we go. All right. So we're actually inside of Foclia. This is the tool that we built. So I'm going off of someone that says, How does AI play a part of that? So right now you're looking at one of our accounts inside of Oclea. Now this is where we have our organization, our organizational foundation, which is our vision, our mission, our purpose, our core values, and our top focus areas. Now when you pop this in, now if you don't know what this is, you can hit the AI assistant, and the AI assistant will pull in your website, or you can pull this in and it'll build an initial one for you. That's AI number one. Now AI number two is, before you can even start about thinking about strategic planning, you need to now go, well, what are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are our opportunities? What are our threats? And that's where it takes you to a SWOT analysis. And now you can do a company SWOT analysis where it will pull in, using AI, your strengths, your weaknesses, potential opportunities, because it recognizes your industry, and the threats. Threats and opportunities are external to your business. Strengths and weaknesses are internal. Now, if you've got that together, now you can come over here and go, okay, now that I have that, what are going to be my annual goals? What are going to be my quarterly goals? What are going to be my monthly projects? So let's say you don't know what they are. You can come over here to the AI helper, and it is going to take into account with your website all of your foundational analysis, your vision, your missions, your purpose, your top focus areas, your SWOT. And it's going to then build out what it thinks your annual goals are. Then you can make adjustments. From that, then you hit the AI helper again, and then it's going to break down those annual goals into quarterly objectives. Let's just do this. So I'm just going to generate this all over again, and it's going to give you your 4 quarterly objectives per quarter that says, here are the things you're going to focus on. Now you can update them and automate them or change them. So it's giving me my quarter 1 objectives, and then I can apply that. And now I got my quarter 1. And now let's say I want to update my monthly task. I want to figure out, well, what should I be doing in the month of July through September? Come over here, grab Q3, and it's going to take into account everything before that. Hit that, and now it's going to generate what it thinks that you should be doing based on what you said your purpose, vision, mission was, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what are the true opportunities and threats, and your annual and quarterly objectives. And this is how you start to leverage AI in helping you. And we built this tool specifically to do this stuff. So if you don't know what you should be doing, this is where the tool can help and support you. Then you'll make adjustments as you see fit. And the key here, now you got to continue to monitor this. Now, another cool thing that this tool can do, and again, I'm only scratching the surface of this situation here. Let me just get rid of that for a second. But as you come in here, you assign it to the right people. And every time you make changes, it's going to go, hey, you made a lot of changes. This is going to probably affect your overall annual plan. Why don't you rerun your analysis so it updates? So again, you're never caught off guard. And this is where technology and AI meets true business strategy when they were built to work together. So I'm going to stop there because, again, that's that Tony Stark I wanted to hit you with real quick, that I hit Andrew with. And so this is a prime example of how we're leveraging technology to help us with our strategies so we can move faster. And believe me, these AI tools are amazing. You know, they're light and day from even 6 months ago, and they're sharp. The key here is bad data in, bad data out. So you're making sure that you got good data going in from the very beginning, and that thing is laser focused on making sure that whatever it's giving you is extremely hyper focused on what you should be doing. And now you can assign that out to people. So this, like I said, this is a whole nother level. And that tool right there was vibe coded. I built that with vibe coding, and now that tool is now for sale. So it became another revenue stream for moving forward small business.
Okay, and what I would say is, you know, Jimmy lives this stuff, so it's real simple to him. But I don't live this stuff, but I can see and understand how it's a lot easier than it seems and sounds.
So it is a lot easier.
It's important to not be afraid of this.
And that's where the education comes in. Again, I didn't know this stuff. I learned it. And I realized that for us, the best gift that was given to small business owners and entrepreneurs was technology. It is the one thing that if we learn it, it can level the playing field with organizations 10 times your size. So you must start to understand it to some degree, whether you touch it or not. So you can go, I need that. I don't want to be the one. I'm building a system like this for a client because she saw it and was like, that's hot. I need one of those. I'm not going to build it, but I see the value of it. And she goes, will you build it? I go, absolutely. I'll build it for you because I do love doing this stuff. I'm a massive nerdy geek when it comes to this stuff, but I'm helping. I get a great paying client. She gets an incredible tool that she officially owns. And again, it's not this tool. It's what we call the internal management system. That tool that I'm building for her is specifically to take all of her processes and where I was using AI to figure things out because of things I put in. We're doing that for her system. So when she adds her SOPs and she adds her contracts and she adds her clients, I'm just going to connect AI and let AI leverage that and go, because of this and because of this. So I saw someone says, I love how the core objectives. I saw a question about how do you balance automation with personal connections. Personal connections is still always going to be key. At the end of the day, we live in a hybrid world. You don't give up one for the other. You still do them both. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of handshaking. I do a lot of baby kids, shaking hands and kissing babies. And then I do a lot of tech, and that's where I find a lot of value because the technology allows me to scale things that I can scale because they don't have to be in person. I go to less coffee meetings. I do less meetings overall because I don't think that they're as necessary anymore. I don't want to sit in traffic. Someone meets me for the first time and they're like, hey, let's have coffee. I'm like, no, let's do a Zoom call. And that's one of my rules. I'm like, until there's a reason for me to meet you, you get that. And not that I'm saying I'm all that, but the fact that you're getting that means that you're all that. You're still worth my time. And these are the boundaries that you're going to need to set. And that's part of the strategy. In order for me to accomplish as much as I'm accomplishing, part of my strategy is to set boundaries with myself as the founder and owner of this organization. And I'm just yelling into the mic, so I'm sorry, people. I just get very, very passionate.
So, okay. So now we're here talking about this stuff. But at the end of the day, if people don't implement it, then it doesn't really help. So if I'm here listening in, this is my first time hearing about this, what should I do? And, how do I get started?
All right, great. Because I see someone actually also asked that same question. At the end of the day, you got to figure out where you are. So you need to stop guessing. You need to audit yourself. You need to audit yourself. You need to audit your business. And I say yourself because if you're a key principal in your organization, you are a brand with and without your organization. So look at the data for the past 12 months. What have you done? What has the company done? Because that's going to give you a foundation to benchmark from. Because if I'm here, there's nothing worse than someone saying to me, and I've had someone say this to me, we want to do, we just hired a marketing person and we want to bring you on as a consultant, and your objective for the end of the year is $1.7 million in revenue. And I said, based on what? And I go, have you ever had a marketing department? They go, no. I go, then that's bull. I go, you're just pulling a number out. I go, if you had something I could look at, what were your past results from the last year? Then I can benchmark it, look at what's going on, and go, okay, I could see this possibly happening. Or nope, that's not going to happen because nothing you did worked. We're starting from scratch. So one, audit yourself. Second, get that vision and abandon anything that doesn't align with that vision. I don't care how great it is, even if it's making a little bit of money, abandon it. Because you can't focus on things because the more you focus on things that don't get you towards the end goal, the further you are away from that goal. And then third, start to automate everything. And this is where AI comes in. So you can't automate if you don't know where you've been or where you're trying to go. Those two things have to come before you start talking about AI tools, because AI tools are not the end all be all. They are the things that's going to help you execute on the vision to move you forward based on the fact that you know where you are right now. So, and shout out to Lisa Rattel. That's my homegirl right there.
All right, excellent. Great point. Great point. So, so definitely starting there, and we're running short on time. There's never enough time, especially when we're talking, because you got so much going on. But at least I want to make sure we at least introduce everybody to what you're doing and this type of tools, and that these are things that they can have to use for their business and make their business stronger and better. So we can't cover everything, but the good part is, you help to educate and prepare people to be able to know how to do this stuff as well. And
Absolutely.
Rather than try and squeeze in like one or two little things, why don't we talk a little bit about kind of how you can help people to do it and what they should do to get your help to do that.
Absolutely. So thank you again for having me here, and I thank everyone that's chiming in. I love it. Dr. Maria, she's a strategic planning nerd. Nerds United. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. For us, we understand that, like Andrew said, yeah, this stuff comes easy to me, but it comes easy to me because I love this stuff and I've done it enough that it really makes sense to me. So we started, and that's why we went into the SaaS side. That's why we created Foclea. I think somebody dropped it in. It's FOCLEA.com. I think a monthly plan is like $29 a month. Our goal is you can have your strategy up and running in 30 minutes if you just give it your website and just hit the AI button and go through the entire thing. You're going to have an annual plan in 30 minutes. Now the goal is then you're going to go back and review that plan and make adjustments to it. But it should be pretty relevant to what you're doing. Now, another thing that we built into the tool was if you have a plan from, let's say, last year, you can actually upload that plan into Foclea, and it will map it out for you for the next 12 months, and then you just have to clean it up. So the key here, we built it so there's no more excuses to you understanding that I need a strategy. I need something to operate from. So we built that tool. Of course, we have our community where we do all of our training. And everything that I talked about today is stuff we either have training on or we do training on every month. So next month, we're going to do vibe coding. So everybody in our community is going to learn to build their own tool like this. This is 7 hours of training spread out over 6 days. So it's not like you're going to do this in a day. So the two things I would say, check out Foclea. If you're interested in checking out our community, we have a lifetime deal. We're supposed to yank it down, but we ran out of time for that. So the lifetime deal is still up for membership into our community, which is $349 once, and you don't pay ever again. Connect with me on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to me through any of these modes. And our objective is we want to help 1 million small businesses be successful with strategy, innovation, and technology. And these are the tools, and this is the education that we're putting out there to help you be educated enough to make these things happen. So, we're stepping into 2026. We're high stepping. I mean, my knees are all the way up here at my chest. That's how high I'm stepping into 2026. I am not playing. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I mean, that lines up with exactly what we're doing here at Small Business Pro University. And it's really about helping you make 2026 your best year ever. And you need to start with a strategy. You need to be motivated and be able to envision what you're trying to do. So that's one of the reasons why we have Jimmy on the show here. There's a lot of things that go into a successful year, but definitely preparing for it is the first step. So, Jimmy, we covered a whole bunch of stuff. You shared a little bit about where people can learn more, but at the end of the day, people can only remember like 3 things. And so if you could take a minute, just say, what are the 3 key things that people should take away from what we discussed tonight? So take a second to think about it.
Don't need it. Ready to go.
Well, just take 1 second. I got a video I got to play anyways.
Oh, okay. All right. That's cool.
Relax.
All right, I'll chill out. Chill out, bro. Chill.
But I'll make it a short one.
Okay.
And really just put this together for the holidays. Definitely. Sometimes you forget it's like the holidays and take a step back. But definitely. We appreciate having the opportunity to have a great year and work with so many great people. So here's just a little bit about our year-end message.
Hello, everybody. Andrew Frazier here. And as we close out the year, I just want to thank all of our clients, our sponsors, event attendees, business partners, and volunteers. Because of you, 2025 was our best year ever, and we couldn't have done it without your support and trust. As we look forward to 2026, I'm excited to continue working and growing together. From all of us at Small Business Pro University, happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and best wishes for a successful new year.
All right, excellent. So Jimmy, what are the top 3 things people should take away?
Sure. The top 3 things to take away is 1, stop guessing and audit. Audit your business and audit yourself. Understand the last 12 months. That's 1. 2, align or abandon. If you're busy doing stuff, come up with a vision and look at everything you're doing and go, does it align? If it does, you keep it. If it doesn't, abandon it. Put it in some type of we call it the parking lot. And then 3, then start to look at where should I automate, because now that you've audited yourself, you got a vision. Now, when we talk about AI and automating to elevate, it's usually based on the fact that what are the bottlenecks? What are things that I'm either doing that's really repetitive that I could probably build a system around or purchase a system that will allow me to simplify that or get that off my plate altogether. That's where you're going to leverage technology. Take things off your plate, simplify processes, and then see what that new valuable time that you just reclaimed, and now strategically use that time to make sure to continue to build that momentum. So 1, stop guessing and audit. 2, align or abandon. And 3, automate to elevate.
All right. So you've got audit first, and it's definitely you can't figure out where you're going if you don't know where you are. So it's important to know where you are, and a lot of times business owners don't take advantage of facts, and auditing and numbers allows you to give you actual facts about where you are. Too many times we go based on assumptions that may not actually be accurate. And as a result, we don't get the results that we expected because, we were starting out from a false premise. So definitely auditing and getting facts, and as many facts about the business as you can get, the better. So you understand where you are and what you're working with. Align or abandon. You got to be focused, more than ever now. And as a business owner, especially early on, it's so easy to be unfocused. Focusing, it seems like you should have a wider focus because you want to get more business. But the way to really get more business is having a narrower focus and really niching down in a really tight way. So it can be counterintuitive and scary, but that's the way to really be able to build a business. And then automation. And what was it you said? Automate to elevate. Automate to elevate. Now, live at 8:05, I got to take credit for the rhyme there. You're trying to bite my rhyme, but.
Oh, is that yours?
But I'll let it go for this year.
My bad.
But automate to elevate, just being more efficient, more effective. There's tools out there that are incredible for you as a small business owner. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of an introduction into it. Jimmy, you're always like the best. I appreciate you always answer my call and sharing your knowledge and expertise and wisdom with our audience.
Absolutely. Well, it was absolutely my pleasure. And I see Dr. Maria, shout out. She said, what curious about my opinion on appreciative inquiry versus SWOT analysis. I don't know too much about appreciative inquiry. I looked at it. At the end of the day, I think that they're probably both extremely well. I like the SWOT analysis because it's very clear the four components. And from there, we do what's called a TOES matrix. If the SWOT analysis tells us where we are, the TOES matrix, which is SWOT spelled backwards, tells us what we're supposed to do because of that. So there's actually a two-step process that we also built into Foclea. So I only showed you a small piece, but there's a huge, a linear line that goes way beyond what I covered today. And this is the stuff that you will learn if you're leveraging that tool. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to come out very a lot smarter when it comes to strategy and kicking the crap, excuse my expression, out of your competition.
Okay, excellent. So, great question. Okay, cool. Anything else you want to share before we close out, Jimmy?
No, I'm looking forward to what 2026 is going to bring. We're bringing a lot of great energy. Like I said, I feel like there was a pivotal moment for us at the end of this year when you think everybody's wrapping down. We actually ramped up, and I was just coming back from Amsterdam, and all of a sudden, all these things just started making sense, and I started playing around with stuff and started solving internal problems. So I wasn't even focused on the problems I solved for my community. I was looking at how do I solve my problems, and when I started using technology to really start to dive in on my own problems, of course the chain reaction to that was I ended up helping me solve the problems of the people that I serve as well. So again, you have to do that self-reflection and that audit, and you're going to find out a lot of stuff. Someone says the difference between what reality is and how things should be, at the end of the day, and I think you said it as well, Andrew, be honest with yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. And the rougher you are, be rough with yourself. You don't have to tell anybody else, but it will give you a great foundation to then springboard from.
Okay. Excellent. So let's see. Okay. Well, Jimmy, thank you again for tuning in. Hang on for a minute if you can. And let me just close things out. So, once again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I guess we're going into the new year, so we want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope your holidays were great, and really looking forward to kicking off 2026 really strong and making our best year ever. That's my pledge, to be, open to helping you to do that however I can. Feel free to reach out. Let us know what we can do, what we're doing well, what we could do better. And definitely, if you like the show, definitely like it. Make sure you subscribe. And we're looking forward to a great 2025. We're kicking off the year next year. Looking forward to it. Our first episode is Startup to Scaling in 2 years. We're going to be talking with Gene Bahinsky, and he's actually done that. Startup to Scaling in 2 years, going from 0 employees to over 100. And we're going to talk about the journey, and we'll be able to talk about it in depth, because I'll work with him and walk with him through that journey of the past 2 years. It's been amazing to see what he's been able to do, and there's a lot of great lessons in that. So I look forward to chatting with him about that next week. And definitely we've got some great stuff happening next year, so keep an eye out. And we'll catch you then. But thanks again for joining us. And always remember that the more that you know, the faster and more successfully your business is going to grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.